Hey guys, Victor here, coming at you with another deck profile, and for today's video we're going to be doing an updated Tearlament deck profile. Now, I say updated, but the deck hasn't really received too many changes yet, as I'm still in the process of acquiring new cards, but even so, the deck is still phenomenal whether you're going first or second, as it's able to play through boards and set up a lot of really strong boards the deck just struggled to play through. So, with that in mind, let's just jump straight into it. Now, as always, we're going to be starting off with the monster lineup first, and we're going to be playing 3 Tearlaments Reinoheart this time. Now, we're going to be opting for 3 Reinoheart because this is a normal Tearlament deck, which means that you do rely a lot more heavily on being able to actually like open or just start with this card, because it really does just open up so many different plays for your deck, as it gives you access to pretty much your entire extra deck, or if you want to like mill cards, you can send your tier caches. If you want a fusion, you send your small guys. It's great for being able to exceed summon into Bahamut Toad or just any other rank 4. Like this card really just does it all, and it should be the main focus whenever you're playing like a pure Tearlament deck. Then to go with our 3 Reinohearts, we're still playing the 3 Tearlaments Kashtira. Mills 3 when it's summoned, whether it's normal or special summoned, and it mills 2 more when it's sent to the engraver by card effect. Then you have your 1-ofs being the 1 Merlli, the 1 Havnis, and the 1 Scheiren. Literally just maxing out on all the good ones because we can. And then that's it for the Tearlament monsters. Then for the rest of the monsters that we played to help out the deck, we're going to be still rocking 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. It doesn't help the deck in any way, shape, or form, except for being able to potentially stop Mulcharmy Foolos, which if we can do, fantastic. So that's literally its only purpose. Sometimes you can justify like normal summoning it to like link summon, but like I really would not recommend it. It's literally just there for Foolos because that card just completely stomps this deck. Then for the other monsters, we're playing 2 Beastking of the Swamp, as this allows us to go into cards like Tearlaments Rukolos a lot more easily, or just period, because Kikolos is banned, so that means this is basically the only way that we have access to Rukolos, and Rukolos is still a really strong card, and it really does help make our boards a little bit more resilient, just because it makes us immune to cards such as like Nibiru or potentially any drawn bestials, or it just prevents our opponents from being able to special summon their monsters as well. So yeah, 2 Beastking of the Swamp, fantastic. Then we're also playing 2 Kashtira Fenrir. It's a fantastic body that's able to special summon itself when you control no monsters. It searches out either itself or tier cache, and if your opponent decides to activate an effect, it can banish a face-up card they control face down, and it also gets that effect if it decides to declare an attack. And by it, I mean Kashtira Fenrir. So yeah, this card just gives you so much value in a normal tier deck that I feel like you should be playing it in most situations. Then for the last 2 of monster, we're playing 2 Fiendsmith engravers. We are still playing the Fiendsmith engine. I know you guys are probably tired of it, but it really is that good. Whether it's going to wave High King Caesar to be able to just negate opponent summons much like Rukolos, or if it's going into the Pilgrim Reaper to go for the Kelbeck and Agido at home, and by that I mean it mills 5 cards. But yeah, I feel like if you want to play Tearlaments, you have to be including the Fiendsmith engine, just because it does give you like so much versatility in your plays, and it gives you versatility, it gives you power, it gives you like recursion. It really does do it all. And then just to go with our 2 engravers, we're playing the 1 Lurrie. We don't play the Lacrima level 4 just because we're not focusing on summoning the Desiree or using sequence at all. These are literally just there for the rank 6 plays. Then for the other monsters, I wanted to include some other dark monsters just so that we could have a couple more targets to fusion summon with. So as a result, I just included the Danger Mothman and the Danger Nessie. Hopefully you mill them, but sometimes their hand effects do come up, and if your opponent hits them, oh well. And then for the final monster, the 1 Mudora, the Sword Oracle, just because you need to have at least 1 shuffler, and then the Keldo is pretty much always going to be relegated to the side deck, just because they're honestly just not that great, and you want to limit the possibility of bricking on both of them opening in your hand, because it will happen more than likely. So yeah, just 1 Mudora, perfectly fine, and then we can finally move on to the spell and trap portion. Now that we're on the spell and trap portion of the video, we're going to be starting off with the spells, and we're going to be talking about the first most impactful one being 3 Primeval Planet Perlereino. It may be a hard once per turn, but that's perfectly fine just because it's so powerful in what it's able to do. And what it's able to do is, on activation, you search out for any Tearlament monster and add it to your hand from your deck. So just having access to your entire Tearlament engine is just invaluable. It boosts all your tiers by 500 attack as well as your fusions. And then when a tier monster gets shuffled back, whether it's by its own effect or by like a shuffler, for example, it's able to pop a card on the field. So yeah, gotta play 3 of the planet. And to go with our 3 planets, we're playing 3 Tearlaments Scream. Since we're playing the 3 Reinoheart, you should be maxing out on the 3 Scream as well, as whenever you normal or special summon and you control a face-up tier monster, you get to mill 3 cards. And then for the rest of this turn, all your opponent's monsters lose 500 attack and defense. Or not defense, just attack. Sorry. So yeah, just having something that mills 3 cards is great for consistency. And then when it's sent to the graveyard, it searches out your traps, being just Tearlaments Sulliek in the main deck. I side the meta noise and sometimes the crime, depending on how I'm feeling or what I feel like I'm going to be playing against. But this is basically just there to primarily search out the Sulliek. And yeah, you know, it's a really solid card. Then to go with our 3 Screams, we're playing 3 Forbidden Droplet. It can be 3 Droplet, 3 Talents, 3 Super Polys. It really doesn't matter. It just, whatever you feel is more appropriate at the time. And as of right now, I feel like 3 Droplet is perfectly fine at helping me break my opponent's boards. Or even if I go like first, right, this card is still pretty solid. You can just send like a High King Caesar after you use its materials, and then get to negate a monster effect. So it has its uses. Then we just play a bunch of one-of spells. So we play 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Foolish Burial Goods, 1 Tearlaments Grief, and 1 Pressured Planet wraithsoth. So they all basically achieve the same goal of giving you access to a monster at some point. As Foolish Burial sends any monster, Foolish Burial Goods is typically always going to send your trivikarma, which gives you the planet, which gives you a monster, or a sulliek or a Scream, depending if you already have everything else. You have Tearlaments Grief, which is emergency teleport / Foolish Burial / Monster Reborn for Tearlament monsters. And then you have your Pressured Planet wraithsoth, which will either add your Tear Cache or your Fenrir. So this is essentially like a 4th copy of your Tear Cache or a 3rd copy of your Fenrir, depending on how you use it. So, you know, you got plenty of solid cards that just give you access to key monsters throughout your deck. And I don't feel like you need more than 1 of each. Outside of Foolish, obviously, because it's limited, but yeah, this is pretty much fine as it is. We have the Fiendsmith tract to be able to take advantage of our Fiendsmith combo, and then the 1 Call by the Grave to go with their Ash Blossoms to potentially stop Foolos and maybe any dimension shifters that come our way. And that's it for the spells. And then for the traps, we're still playing the 2 Tearlaments Sulliek and the 1 trivikarma. Really straightforward stuff, nothing too crazy or out of the ordinary. And with that, we can finally move on to the extra deck. Now that we're finally on the extra deck portion of the video, we're going to be starting off with the Exceed monsters first. So as a result, we're playing the 1 Toadally Awesome as our 1 and only Omni Negate with our Bahamut Shark, which is what we use to make the Toadally Awesome. And we play plenty of waters, right? We play the Reinoheart, we play the Beastking of the Swamp, we play the Mudragon to be able to exceed something with our Reinohearts. It's very easy to make, so yeah, we definitely got to include them. Then we're also playing the 1 Time Thief Redoer, which is there for like those situations that you will run into where you have like a Scheiren on board with another level 4, but you need to get the Scheiren in the grave to be able to fusion summon. You just make the Redoer detach the Scheiren for effect, and then it'll be able to fusion summon. But not only that, you get a lot of utility out of the Redoer as well, as if you're able to take an opponent's spell card, you get to draw a card. If you take a trap card, you're able to basically wing blast a card that's face up on their side of the field to the top of their deck. So yeah, this card, it's really cool with the plays that it provides you with. And then for the rank 6s, you make the High King Caesar if your hand is broken, or if your hand is mid, you make the Pilgrim Reaper to try and mill 5 more cards. Pretty straightforward stuff. And then that's it for the Exceeds. And then for the links, to play the Fiendsmith engine, you need at least 1 Requiem and then the 1 Moon of the Closed Heaven to turn any 2 monsters into the full Fiendsmith combo. Then you play the 1 IP Masquerena, whose only purpose is to go into SP Little Knight. And that's it for the links. And then for the fusion monsters, really straightforward stuff as well. We're still going to be playing the 1 Necroquip Princess, which is pretty important for the Fiendsmith engine as a whole, just to ensure that you can actually make your rank 6s. You have the 1 Mudragon of the Swamp, the 1 Guru Wings of Resonant Life, and the 1 Predaplant Dracos Depelia. I still call them the Super Poly targets, even though I don't main deck Super Poly. And even without Super Poly, they're still very easy to make within the deck themselves, and they do come up pretty frequently. And then for the final 2 fusions, we're playing the 1 Tearlaments Ruthless to negate special summons, and the 1 Tearlaments Heart to be able to basically just break an opponent's entire board, right? As on special summon, or if you send an Aqua monster from your deck to the graveyard, it's able to target a card on your opponent's side of the field and shuffle it back into the deck. If this card goes to the graveyard, you can special summon it, and then you get to mill any tier cards. So this card is just phenomenal. And with that, that's the Tearlament deck. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. See ya!